We now take an excerpt from a renowned STEM education advocate and social development enthusiast, Dr. Caleb Danladi, who shared his thoughts with Africa Weekly.
International Day for Women and Girls in Science is a very important and unique day that is being celebrated annually every 11th day of February. The purpose of this day is to promote gender equality and also to empower girls and women in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM, which is very important. If you look at the global population today, the number of women and girls in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics is low. According to UNESCO, we have less than 33% of women in STEM compared to male counterpart. So today is a very important day, it's a very unique day that all the stakeholders, all hands must be on deck to raise awareness and also to look at what are those issues, what are those challenges that are limiting women and girls to participate in STEM so that we can be able to remove those structural barriers. And very important, the theme for 2026 is very important and timely. The theme talks about synergizing AI, social science, STEM and finance, and also building inclusive futures for women and girls, which is very important. It talks about 4 important pillars. The first pillars talk about AI. Today we are in a global world and we are talking about AI. AI has come to stay, which is very important. We must empower girls and women when it comes to AI. It also talks about social sciences. Social sciences have to talk about behavioral change. We need to change our behavior. The behavior that we have always had that STEM is mainly for boys, I think we need to change that and remove any structural barriers. Then when it comes to STEM, we need to develop girls at a very young and tender age so that they will have all the necessary skills to be able to thrive when it comes to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And finance is also very important. When we talk about finance, we need finance to bridge the gender inequality gap, which is very important. When women are involved in innovation, we should be able to support them with finance so that it will be sustainable. We need to support women education, which is important. So these 4 pillars are very crucial today. Let's look at what are the challenges that are limiting girls from participating in STEM, and then we are going to work towards it. So it's a very important day. It's a very unique day that is called for action so that we can bridge this gender inequality. In Nigerian context, I think the government has done extremely well when it comes to STEM. However, STEM education in Nigeria is not even, it's at a crossroad. The girls in the urban area have more opportunities than the girls in the underserved and rural areas. However, turning this theme into action for 2026, we must focus on 3 most important things. That has to do with access, relevance, and also support. First, we must expand STEM education to underserved areas like rural areas. We must be able to provide them with all the necessary infrastructure to thrive when it comes to STEM, because children in the underserved areas don't have the equal opportunities with those in the urban areas. So it's very important for us to expand access. That's why I mentioned access as the first point. The second one has to do with learning. Learning must be relevant. When you are learning, it must be connected to science and technology that will be able to solve everyday problems like health sector, agricultural sector, power sector, and also other relevant innovation sectors in the country today. Then thirdly, we also need a strong support. What I mean by strong support, it has to do with mentorship for girls. Mentorship is very important. The most successful females in STEM has to come up together to mentor the younger ones. We also need awareness. We must carry out seminars to be able to raise awareness about STEM. Then training for teachers is very important. When you have teachers, whether in the urban area or in the rural areas that are teaching STEM subjects, you must train them so that they can be able to impact that knowledge on the younger generation and the younger girls that are coming. And very important, policies that encourage girls to stay in school and pursue STEM is very important also. So when all these 3 comes together, the vision for STEM will truly become an impact. At Caleb Danladi Foundation, STEM has always been our focus areas, and we have different STEM programs that are designed for rural children. And one of those programs is the digital literacy training for rural girls. Before we commence that program, we carry out what we call need assessment. And through the need assessment, we are able to identify the challenges that these girls are facing. And one of the challenges that we identify through our need assessment is most of the girls in rural areas have not